Welcome to episode 489 of Fourth and Jawn. I'm Gail Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hearn and Mr. Primo in the building. And tonight is the Let 'em Cook episode. This is brought to you by Howie Roseman and AI, because it is time to cook, and this is where Howie Roseman delivers. We were talking about Jalix Hunts of the world showing up in the Super Bowl. We're talking about hitting on Cooper Jean, which was Evan Hollywood Hearn's favorite target last year in the same episode. The Quinyon Mitchells, which was my beloved son.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Howie Roseman is cooked, and I think we're in the dog days of giraffe coverage. I think the build up is tomorrow. It's tomorrow, right? Draft is tomorrow. Yeah. It's tomorrow.
No, the draft is in 2 days ago.
Thursday, 2 days.
Tuesday. Today's Tuesday.
Like I said, today's Tuesday. But a lot of people just want to get to the draft, and I think we're all excited. I think we're still on the Super Bowl high a little bit. I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I think we're in a place where anything we get right now is just a bonus. So I mean, how are you feeling, F?
No, I agree. I actually had this realization the other day that, not even intentionally, but I think unintentionally, I have worn a piece of Eagles gear without fail every single day since we've won the Super Bowl. I don't know if you boys can say the same, but I have had at least one piece on since the Super Bowl, and probably even before that. Anyway, dude, I'm hyped. I mean, this is an exciting. The off season is boring, man. I mean, we only get so much that we can look forward to in the off season. Obviously, during fall and winter, that is when we're feeling our best. We get to watch the Eagles, but we only get these little nibbles throughout the off season. And this draft is the biggest one there is. This is the big prize of the off season, and this is where Howie usually cooks. I mean, we have had it's pretty crazy how Howie, first of all, his ascension just from he was an intern when he first joined the Eagles, right? And he worked his way up all the way to GM. He's been GM for, over a decade now, and doing a fantastic job. Obviously, I think he's going to continue to soar, bro. I think that he's, like you said, we're playing with house money. It's all going to be gravy, and I think he's going to continue, like in the previous 5-6 years or so, to absolutely cook in this good draft.
I gotta say that every year I try to find this same hypeness that Gail Saunders has when it comes to the draft. I try to find that geek inside me, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe every year I get a little bit better with it. But hey, look, we're 2 days away. It's all about getting it all put back together. So we could run this thing back, and I'm excited to see this thing go all the way again. We definitely have the potential. And it's all about bringing in the new boys onto the team. I mean, that's what we did last year. We ended up, drafting very well, and I'm looking forward to this new norm that Howie has when it comes to draft. So I think, there's plenty of talent in this draft that could definitely fill in the gaps that we're looking to fill in. And like I said, it's all about getting back to that mountaintop. I ended up getting my tattoo today, the 2 Super Bowl trophies. I haven't put out the picture yet. I'm still healing. But, hey, look, man, it's like I was telling my artist today. I want to set up where I could add on 3, 4, 5. That's how I'm feeling right now. So, he was with me. We put a good game plan together, and, yeah, it came out pretty cool. So the only way it's going to start is it starts on Thursday. You know what I mean? Let's run it back. Let's put this team together and get this thing rolling. So that's where the excitement kicks in. And Hollywood, like I said, man, I'm proud. I'm proud that you're wearing the Eagles gear because, yes, to answer your question, I have been rocking Eagles gear every single day as possible, going everywhere with my Eagles gear, rubbing it in. I'm still on that, that celebrating train. So, look,
that's right. Champion
just keeps racking up the merch. So, yeah,
you gotta have man. We have the Hollywood Hearn essential. We also have the
I mean, I
ooh, that's nice.
I want a little shopping myself.
Okay.
I like the black and white. I like the black and white.
Yeah, I got a
Was that
black
was that a
black on
separate
black as well.
patch that you put on, or was that the full hat?
No, it actually came like this. Goddamn Fanatics finds a way to go ahead and shows up on my screen every single day. They sucker me in, and I went and I had grabbed like about 3 new hats, maybe 4. Yeah, all champions on it, and Gail, of course, has to go ahead and flex.
I'm put these on a custom. I'm like, I'm gonna.
Do you feel a little bit dirty since the Chiefs logo's on it? With that one?
Well, I'm actually not gonna keep the Chiefs logo. I'm gonna just take off the Eagles logo and put the tickets on some kind of custom of some sort. But obviously, championship gear. This has all happened. All this championship gear happened because of the draft. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
built with youth. Yeah. Do you think that because of where we are drafting though this year that there is less hype that it's surrounding the draft? I kind of have that feeling that like since we're picking 32, everybody in the league wants to be picking 32. That's the ideal position to be picking. But because you're so far back and because so much can happen before you pick, I feel like it takes some of the steam out of the draft itself.
I'm gonna be honest. It's. I feel like we're last in line. Like no one wants to pick last.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, even as an adult, waiting for the NFL draft or Howie Roseman, I do feel like we're in this move up or move back type of situation. It so much so it swayed my decision to go to Green Bay because I could picture myself in the pit, standing there for hours. If you go in the draft pit, it's a long day.
Mm-hmm.
So to sit there and wait to 32 and watch us trade back, I would be hot. I think obviously the draft experience would be cool, but I just feel like, we'll go to the draft party. I really don't like the draft party either, to be honest.
Really?
It's nice, but, everyone there is not really well researched on. You're just pretty much happy to be there. So it's like you want to look over like, yo, what are like, let's talk about some. And then like, well, I know what
we got to build our own war room. I think.
Yeah, they're looking at me like,
yeah,
we're watching the draft
because they're not on Gail's geek status.
They look at me, then they start.
You didn't watch any of his tape at Middle Tennessee State? Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's why you when you have people to like talk to about this stuff, it's like I don't know. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Shout out to Anthony Perry in the building and Mark Bird, Oregonian, President Oregonian. He said, "Are you ready for Thursday?" Yes, we are. We're ready to give you some prospects. I know this is gonna be our final mock. Don't be.
I gotta say, this view is pretty cool, man. I'm feeling like ESPN right now, bro.
Yeah, you feeling important?
I feel so close. Gotta move back.
That's all right.
Yeah, you just move back a little bit, Ev. So I mean, just talking about the first round pick, being at the back end, I think we're like I said, we're at the mercy of the board. I think there's a lot of prospects that we like, and there's a lot of prospects we like that have some background issues that we need to work through. We've heard Howie recently talk about proven until innocent until proven guilty. We've seen a little Big Dom hype on the timeline about like him doing his due diligence and him being the best in the business. Could this be a Mike Green type situation? I heard Gargano was talking about some kind of Mike Green. I got to look more into that, but like if Gargano says something, you got to listen. You got the Pierces of the world, you got Walter Nolans of the world, who have some we don't really know. I mean, I got some. We'll get into it, but that's really where we're at. We're at the mercy of the board, so we're either move back or stay where we're at, or move up. And I think it's for me. I'm all in it to move up. I got it.
Yeah, and I think that I mean, if we're looking at this realistically, we talk about how this is Howie Roseman's, his time to shine. I think what's being understated in this whole conversation is just the idea of all the drafts that are all the trades that are going to happen. I think on draft night, I think that Howie Roseman is going to be active during this draft, whether that be selling or buying players or both. I mean, we've heard so much about Dallas Goedert. on the trading block. Who knows what's going to be going on with Bryce Huff or what even the value could be. Um, uh, but I think that and looking to fill in positions as well. I mean, um, there's always going to be that opportunity for a draft night trade. I think that could fill some voids.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know. I'm feeling that as well. I feel like there's going to be a big trade or a couple trades actually that night. Coming from Howie. We talked about this various weeks that we're pretty much set up in a good part of our positions, and I don't know. I feel like we can afford to go ahead and focus on trading and picking up, some key players, some veteran players that that could do for us now, and maybe trade back for some future trades. I don't know, but I just feel like we could just play around a little bit more this year because we're set up just so perfectly.
And
So
you
like,
look at all of the four fifth round picks this year. There's no way that like Howie just ends up taking 4 picks in the 160s. He's going to spread that around, whether he acquires more picks on the back end next year or he packages that together with a player. Like that's what I'm talking about, is that Howie is going into this draft with a bunch of assets between this year and next year. So really the options are there, no matter what you really want to do.
And Howie, Adam Schefter talked about Howie Roseman and the Eagles being the most likely, having ammunition to trade and do what he wants. So I mean, we're most likely to trade. So I mean, you should feel good by yourself. I'm all about even actually trading out of the first and then trading up from the second, bottom of the second. So I mean, if we have multiple threes next year, trade one of those threes to move up to get your guy, like wherever, how high you need to get up. I'm cool with that. Cool. I'm totally cool with that. Now, which one of you jokers want to go first? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Look at F standing on the draft table, his chest out. But we appreciate you guys in the chat, man. I love to hear all your draft takes. It's going to be one of those episodes where we'd like to hear your draft takes. Okay. So throw them up. We'll put them up as we go along with the show. But we're gonna go find Evan's first round. And these are we could talk through it, but these are potential options in the first. You could talk about if you need to move up or you're staying put with these selections. But Ev Hollywood Hearn, he's sitting there with Lana in his lap. He's feeling good about the draft and everything.
Love the graphic. First of all, love the graphic. But yeah, these are my 3 guys that I am. Obviously, I don't think that all of these guys would be here at 32. I think that there's a possibility that Eamon Wari and Nolan you would potentially have to move up for. I have a feeling that my man Mad Max could be sitting there at 32. However, let's just go through them one by one. I mean, you brought up, Big Dom doing his due diligence, all that stuff. Walter Nolan is a guy, when you just look at the football capabilities, and, we'll let Big Dom handle the rest with everything off the field. He is an absolute monster. He causes disruption, and you think about how we're building this defensive line. Guys like Jalen Carter, guys like Jordan Davis, the young guys that are coming in off the edge now. You throw another disruptor in the mix there in Walter Nolan, and it's going to be a complete mismatch for offensive lines across the league. And on top of that, you're building extremely young in the trenches. So this is for years to come. Eamon Wari, I mean, I'm still butchering that name a ton. Gail, could you give me the pronunciation? Eamon Wari. Okay. I just want to make sure I had it correct. He is, I believe, the top safety in the draft. I mean, you are losing out on CJGJ this season again. And remember, obviously CJ went to the Super Bowl with us both years that he was here, and then we ended up collapsing that year without him. I'm not saying that CJ was the reason. I'm not saying CJ was the glue holding us together. I think that, you look at all of this stuff and how he kind of responds online, and you could probably guess that he wasn't exactly the glue, but he is definitely a talented player, and it's going to be a massive void in not having CJ GJ in the secondary. So getting Imanwari in there, I think he would fill in as a box safety beautifully, opposite of Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship, we know, excels having a good safety next to him. Plus, he's just a total ball hawk. So you put a really good, strong safety next to Reed Blankenship, and I think that would be a great young secondary. And then we're going with the same sort of mindset with Mad Max. Either, I would absolutely go crazy if Will Johnson fell to anywhere in the 20s. I think that's a guy that you would trade up for. But if not, and Hairston's sitting there, I know the Eagles went round 1, round 2 cornerback last year. But if you're able to get another legitimate outside corner that could be opposite of Quinyon Mitchell, I would love to keep Cooper DeJean in the slot and just let him absolutely, rain havoc on against slot receivers. So get another young guy, obviously on a rookie deal, that could come in starting. I think that would be a good move. That's where I would go in the first round.
Asking as his draft dad last year.
Yeah.
You birthed this all into action, buddy. Are you telling your son that he can't play on the outside?
I'm not saying that he can't play on the outside, but I look at it like where we see people succeed, where we see people excel. And, guys like Avonte Maddox, he did extremely well, made a name for himself on this podcast among fans as a really good cornerback when he was in the slot. And then they tried to put him to the outside, and he just wasn't ready for it. I don't think that would necessarily happen with Coop. Maybe Cooper would excel at the outside. What I do know is he really, really did well and excelled in Vic Fangio's system in the slot. So if instead of moving a bunch of pieces around, I would rather just keep him there and get another legitimate outside corner.
So if it's not broke, don't. It doesn't need fixing.
Correct. That's my.
I mean, I like your pick, Walter Nolan. That was
pretty much.
I'm very excited to see the DT in there. Nick Imanwari again. Does Howie buck the trend in not drafting a safety and forever?
I think that replacing CJ GJ is being extremely understated in this whole conversation, and I don't think it can be something that can just be patched with the Sidney Brown, so to speak. And I'm not trying to throw any shots at Sidney Brown. I'm just saying that CJ GJ plays at a Pro Bowl level, and we need a guy, I think, that can come in here and be a top 15 safety in the league at his position.
One thing I was looking at, the positional value and drafting, and then I believe Hunter from Underdog Fantasy had a great piece on just basically the positional value in the contracts of the top 5 contracts, the top 5 contracts, and the average of cost. And safety was, I think, second to last. It was like running back and safety around there. That's why when I'm thinking about this first round pick, and where the strength of the draft is, the highest besides quarterback, the highest position is edge.
I get that,
but is defensive interior.
But if we're talking about Imanwari, we're talking about who is being considered the top safety in the draft. So I get what you're saying, that there is more volume in edge rushers, but if the top player at that position were to fall into the mid-20s, would you not trade up and get him? I mean, I feel like you look at the trends of like I've said on previous podcasts, like how teams are kind of bucking the trend, and the guys that are going out there and getting a first round safety in the Kyle Hamilton and Brian Branch, like they've done really, really well.
Mhm.
And so if you go out there and you get, like Helene says, like a Malachi Starks, or if you get a Imamwari, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I like the player.
Mhm.
I'm just saying the theory of like, does Howie actually do it? Because
Yeah.
that's where we're at. Like, does he actually do it? Like, just
Mhm.
like how we were with Quignon, we're like, does he actually draft a corner and break the trend? So I think, but just doing the analysis and just seeing where the draft's at, I just feel like it just makes so much sense to get your top quality edge, interior, and then
I got what you mean.
move accordingly. Like me
All right.
personally.
So
Um,
let's go on to your three then, or primes.
um, let's see. My first, right, I'm right there with you, buddy. In the Walter Nolan trend, I just
Love
think
that.
the idea of Walter Nolan next to Jalen Carter is really what I'm about right now. Like, I just think he'd be a menace, getting those one-on-one um, opportunities with Jalen Carter causing havoc. I think Walter Nolan. There's a lot of talk about, you know, the off the field stuff, but no one really gives you really much. Pretty much, um, he multiple. He changed high schools, multiple colleges. He left Texas A&M to go to Ole Miss. Like, is there something that again, Big Dom will do his due diligence. Um, Again, with James Pierce, the talent is. I love the talent. I love the explosive talent that he has. That's something that you really can't. You either got that kind of explosion or not. I think he was pretty athletic. I like the athletic profile. I do not like the. I don't. I'm a big interview guy. Did not like the interviews. There was a. I was trying to figure out. I watched everything I could watch, and I left every single interview in like. I know the scouts got to be thinking something.
Yeah.
Just the. You either leave a good conversation, like that was a great conversation, or you leave with like
Questions.
I don't know if the lights are on, but boy,
Yeah.
can he be explosive off the edge. Imagine him and Jalen Carter. So I'm going to go off that. I mean, I spoke with my boy Justin Mello from the Draft Network, and this is what he had to say. He said basically it was, I had it somewhere, had it ready to go. It was basically um, character concerns were, he used the word cancer in the locker room, and then effort. Effort was the big thing, and
That's two red flags.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna key on things like this from the very beginning before they go ahead and make their choice.
Gail, can I also just interject with? Do you remember? I want to give you your flowers while also tying it into this point. A couple years ago, I guess it was 4 or 5 years ago, maybe now. You were not in at all on Kadarius Toney, and it was because he just was real into his rap career and he wasn't taking football seriously, and that's what the scouts were saying. And now you look at what's happening. He just retired from football to pursue his rap career.
I mentioned that to my homie who's a Giant fan. I said, remember that day when I told you about Kadarius Toney and all the weapons charge and the SoundCloud rapper. These are all little hints of so
that's why when you tell me effort and being a locker room cancer are the two flags here, and I'm like, that's kind of
this is because I'm literally having the conversation with myself in the house, walking around like, you gonna put this guy on your board? But at 32, at the mercy of the board, and like, if I had to get 2 years out of it, like if he was that much of a issue, I know Brandon Graham's gonna be in that locker room. He might not be on the team, but he's gonna be
there in some capacity.
I don't need him to mess around with Jalen Carter's flow, because it's Jalen Carter. I need him to be right. Don't be messing with the Bulldogs in there, so he can't cause the drama. But the talent is the talent. That's another guy that just got the size. You just look at the profile of some of our other guys. We got some light dudes in there. I mean, I think he can get bigger. But I think I move right off to the next one, Edge Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College. I feel like, at first, I went again. This is why I go to the Senior Bowl every year, just to do my due diligence and make sure that I see them do it down there. I think it did him a lot of service. I think he's a guy with a lot of tools in his toolbox. In terms of some other edge rushers out there that have no game, like no extra pass rush moves, he's got a lot of them. So I think in terms of him being a guy that is going to soak up all the information in that room, I think one thing about his power is you can't really replace. Like you can't like his power moves. He's a little bit more finesse. I think he's got a lot of effort and will against the run, sort of like a Nolan Smith. He's not that big dude, but he'll fight you in a phone booth at his size. But I think Ezeraku, go listen to one of his interviews, and you'll leave like, this is an investment. Like, as much as people don't want to say, you're putting millions of dollars, it's an investment. So the Eagles want to know that they got their guy, man.
Big fan of Ezeraku.
What do you guys? And again, I'm going right back to my thought about like trenches is where the strength of this draft is. There's no need to walk away after the back end of the first. It's not like it's going to get better as you get back in the draft. It's going to get slightly downgraded. So if you're there at the top of the 32 and you can get great edge and defensive tackle play right there, do it. We'll just have to trust Big Dom.
Yeah. No, I like your picks, honestly. I mean, I had Walter Nolan on my list as well, so obviously we're on the same wavelength there. And Ezeraku is a guy that, would have been on my list as well if I just was trying to keep it diverse with the different position types for each round. But, dude, a guy that is definitely on my board as far as a guy I would like the Eagles to have.
Now Mark is saying his picks are Starks, Harmon,
Connerly was going to be there.
Antonio, shout out to Antonio. Appreciate you always commenting. So you commented on our Harold Fannin interview. If you want to check that out, it's up. He said Stark, Nolan, or Michael Williams. I think Michael Williams 1 year of last year he was banged up, ankle or lower leg injury. So if he falls because of that, I think he's got the talent, Michael Williams. So I think he's going to be off the board by then. But I definitely will scoop him up. I like the next couple picks from our guy Primo. Spiced it up for us. You ready, Primo?
Yeah, I'm ready. I decided to go a whole different route with sticking with secondary within this first round. Now, I want to start off by definitely saying I agree with Evan. Don't fix something that needs to be, that's not broken. Cooper DeJean staying in the inside is where I would definitely want to go ahead and keep him. I'm not taking anything away from him. He does have the talent, but to be an outside if he needs to be. But just keep him in the inside. And then, with the departure of Darius, Slay, and then CJ, this is where I feel like we got to focus a little bit more again on this first round. We did great doing that last year, and I think that it's probably be, the way to go this year as well, especially in the 32nd pick. Now, going back to another statement Evan made, if one of these three guys is up there, we do have the ability to go ahead and trade and go up to that upper spot to pick one of these guys. And these three that I have here, any one of them, I feel like would be the dime piece that we need. I mean, Maxwell Hairston. I mean, he possesses an elite feel for the zone coverage. He demonstrates exceptional closing bursts to the football. When he sees it, he gets it. That's what we need. We need to fill that void with Darius Slay being out. And that's why I feel like, keeping Cooper in the inside, we could take care of all that. I mean, I know we have some potential on the sidelines with other players, but we want to try to stay young. I think taking a different route, everybody's always quick to say, hey, bring everybody back. Let's run it back with the same people. Nah, I think, Howie's all about changing that scheme up a little bit and running it back, but, with newer and stronger talent. And that's where, it starts with him. It started last year, and I think he's just going to continue that on into this draft. Malachi Starks, another one, that's just devastating, effective run defender who possesses the plays at warp speed, bringing elite closing burst and surgical angles to shut down rushing lanes before they develop. He shows advanced hand uses against blockers in the box, consistently creates separations with strong punch before shedding to make plays against the run. So, safety position is something that we definitely got to go ahead and focus on with CJ being gone. I know CJ, we made the Super Bowl with CJ being here the 2 years that he was part of the team, but, I don't think that is going to happen again. I don't see us bringing CJ back a third time. We got to go ahead and focus on making that happen. Now, if Starks isn't there and they decide to stay at the 32nd and go a different route, do we talk about Justice Simmons, being picked up? So, I mean, I just feel like that safety void will be filled in, one way or another. Then, of course, Trey Amos, nasty press man technician who brings the kitchen sink to the line of scrimmage, shows exceptional spatial awareness of contested situations. He's explosive, plant and drive ability jumps off the tape, particularly against quick game where he closes throwing windows faster than the screen door in a hurricane, they say. I just think with any of these three, it'll be a good first round pick to start off the draft with. So that's where I fall with these guys.
Yeah, the Malachi Starks pick, I think, again, his leadership qualities is something that they marvel at. And again, Bulldog. Just in terms of being a QB of the defense, the back end, if you just add another element from that Georgia defense, it goes back to that Howie trying to recreate that Georgia D. I think he would be – when you can play nickel on the spot, you can play safety. He's a hybrid type. And I know he's been caught flat-footed a couple times in some of these plays, but he's made some sick grabs out there. I think the leadership qualities, I think that's again, like the difference of adding like a team captain with leadership qualities, dropping that into a locker room chock full of leaders already, I think. And then we're talking about young talent. And again, I would love the fact if we got if I'm going Eamon Worry versus Malachi Starks, I feel like Starks would fit our scheme a lot better. Eamon Worry's probably the more athletic profile is crazy on Eamon Worry, but in terms of change of direction, a little bit more fluidity, I think Starks would be Starks would be my guy. You're in your two corners, Trey and Amos. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it feels a lot like the famous Howie Roseman draft quote from years ago, where, do you like pepperoni or sausage? I mean, honestly, both of those safeties, Imawari and Starks, I like them both. I think that they both bring a different, like you say, skill set to the table, but I think they could both be useful in this scheme. But yeah, Prime, just I don't know, I'm sure Gail was going to say, but I like just the idea of going young in the secondary and continuing to build out this our own version of the Legion of Boom. Go whether it be corner or safety in this first round. I love the idea of it.
I think, and you again look at the average cost of cornerbacks these days.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're getting. It's what is it? I mean, like when the time to get paid, Quignon is going to be making buku bucks. So this is a position that you need to, you need to settle up. I mean, you either draft him because we're all waiting for the impact of the Jalen Carter contract. It's going to be monumental.
They'll probably end up using that 5th-year option on Quignon just because they're going to be tying up everything. Who knows? Maybe they sign early as possible and get them cheap. Yeah.
Cam got locked up today. Shout out to Cam.
Yeah.
Jurgens.
Beef jerky.
That's why I'm saying you can't, as much as we wanted to keep Makai, you had to pay Cam early. So that's where our O-line money went. But I just want to talk Trey Amos and Hairston. I think great guys that also both had visits. I like the fact that they both can rock zone. I think their click and close ability, like Hairston, that's that opposite of Quignon. That's obviously the size is a thing, but just in terms of having that kind of juice. And Trey Amos, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I had him in the second round if we can get him. He's not on my list, but in a perfect world, if we moved back and got him, I wouldn't be mad at it. But again,
I could see him going round 1 though, like 2A team. I could see him going on Thursday for sure.
Moving on to the second round, man. That was interesting. That was very interesting. Hollywood Hearn follows up with his second round picks here. Potential second round picks here.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I got 3 picks here. Obviously, I was going trenches and secondary in the first round. That was kind of the way I leaned. This one, I am kind of. I'm starting to think about that tight end. If I'm really thinking about it, I think that the top flight tight ends that have legitimate shots at being starters in this league are the top 3 guys. Mason Taylor being the last one on that list. So if you really want to go out there and get Goddard's replacement, and you feel like it certainly seems like Goddard's going to be gone. So you're going to need someone, I believe, to be a legitimate tight end 1 there in that position. I'm not saying Calcaterra maybe can't do it, but you throw a guy like Mason Taylor in there for some camp competition, let a legitimate, really good tight end go in there and compete for that starting job. I think you would have 2 solid tight ends going into the league. That's kind of my mentality there, because this is with the assumption that Warren and Loveland are off the board. So go and get that last tight end that I think is worth starting. Thank you. Nick Scourton, an edge that, if you're going to end up, I had planned on going in the secondary in the first round. And, the edges in this draft, like Gail said, they're deep. So I don't want to wait too long before I get an edge off the board. Nick Scourton is a guy I'm looking at in the second round that is he's an athletic freak. I think that he would be an absolute beast on this line, a good guy to throw into a young defensive line rotation. I like him. I think he would be a solid and Howie Roseman-esque pick in the second round. He loves to stick to the trenches. As for Donovan Jackson, I mean, I'm thinking about something that I've been talking about in every leading up to every draft for the past few years, which is you got to start considering the replacement of Lane Johnson, and you get a guy that could be a moldable option here for Jeff Stoutland, a guy with tackle and guard versatility. that could come in there and maybe compete even for that guard position, while Lane is still being the best right tackle in football this season. I think it is another Howie Roseman move that makes sense. You got to give Jeff Stoutland a toy every draft, I believe, and Donovan Jackson wouldn't be a bad one.
Thinking about your picks, man, Mason Taylor, obviously, he's a guy that separated himself down there at the Senior Bowl. I think he stood out. I think there's a couple tight ends. I let Prime talk about his tight end, but just talking about Mason Taylor, I think that's a great option. I'm wondering where, if he does go bottom of the first, but I do think in round 2 is where I'd be cool with getting the tight end. It's Scorton actually. Nick Scorton. He's a guy that he played around at 280s. So he actually lost weight. Mm-hmm. So if we're thinking, could he look a little bit faster? Did they actually want him to put on weight? Like if you look at Shamar Stewart, who also lost like 20 pounds for the draft. Like he was at 290. Like why are their linemen 30 pounds
trying to get
overweight?
Faster?
Right. Like, so, I mean, but are they trying to play? Are they going to play different at a different weight? Is where I'm wondering. Donovan Jackson, you're going to laugh. We can just go right into. You can go and again none of us shared our picks with each other. Mm-hmm. Just I saw him come in and I was like, oh, interesting. But I have mine done. But here's my round 2.
Nice.
I had Mason Taylor as well, and then the Donovan Jackson. I just felt like he listened to his interviews, man. Smart kid, very intellectual in terms of like lineman IQ. Like you just hear him speak, and it just he just sounds like a Stoutland guy. I think to be on a championship team. And they move him out from guard to tackle because Simmons gets hurt and he succeeds. He had a rough go his first time against Abdul Carter, but they had to move him out on left tackle on a pinch, and then after that he settled down. So he showed the league that he could potentially play outside, but for guard tackle versatility, a guy who could potentially start at right guard if they don't think Tyler Steen is not penciled in yet, but just the difference between your round 2 and mine. TJ Sanders, he's a really twitchy DT, and I'm starting to look at. I need to get a defensive interior with some kind of like we know we have Moro Jomo, we know we have Jordan Davis, and then who's the guy that's going to come in potentially on third down to give some of these guards some fits with some twitch. He's a little bit undersized, but I think TJ Sanders guy could go later, maybe in the third. But if they're feeling like he's a guy that they, one of the, and I'm looking at the board at the bottom of the second, he's a guy that I started to look at. But I think if I have a DT and I have an edge in day 1 and day 2, start in the second round, just feeling good, man. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, that rotation would be on another level, honestly. I mean, there was a lot of people that were clamoring for Myles Garrett, myself included. But you go and add 2 top flight, an edge and a defensive tackle in the mix on the first and second round. I agree. Want to touch on some of the guys that, we shared too, just to go further on Donovan Jackson. You talk about him starting his career out at guard and then pushing out to tackle. And I mean, he was another thing that I look at in his career too. Like he only accolade wise ascended. He was a guard in 2020. He was second team All Big Ten. Then he was first team All Big Ten as a guard. Then he was a first team All American his first year as a tackle. Like he's a guy that one thing I like to look at in a player that is coming out in college is a guy that progressively got better each and every year, and he's in that momentum heading into the league as they're continuing to get better. And he's definitely a guy that has, had plenty of challenges in his career, and he's excelled in all of them. And just another, big body. He's 6'3" and a half, 317. You hand him over to Jeff Stoutland, and I feel like any of the little things that need to be ironed out can be ironed out pretty easily.
Anthony asked, Simmons is the one with the torn. Yeah, Simmons is the one with the torn ACL. He also I didn't know he had an off the field issue with it was some kind of police stop. I don't know if it's DUI or some of that nature, but I didn't hear that. I heard somebody mention that, and I was like, oh, okay, put on my little notebook. Speaking of tight ends, I think Primo was very happy to speak about this guy, Mr. Elijah Arroyo, huh?
Primo, you muted.
Yeah, I gotta go. My bad. All right, so yeah, I mean, I'm definitely shooting for the tight ends on this spot. Now, we definitely still don't know what the outcome of Dallas Goedert is going to be. I mean, he pretty much controls his own destiny. If he's going to take a pay cut, I can see us making a move and doing something for him and, being a part of the team. But I would still go ahead and still draft the tight end at this spot. And, we got to think about the future. Dallas might be rented out for another 1 or 2 years, but then, we got to fill in the void eventually for that. Elijah Arroyo is definitely one that sticks out for me. I know you guys picked on Mason Taylor, but Elijah, yeah, he is part of the U. I mean, that is my college. I root for them all day. But I mean, let's talk about tight ends that have come from the U, man. They've been a dime and a dozen, man. Like, these guys really know how to play the position, and the NFL brings great talent from the U when it comes to the tight end position. So, Elijah, I believe, yeah, he's a 5-year senior, but I mean, you pointed on, like, these guys get better as the years go on. I know he suffered quite a bit of injuries, but I don't know. Just this past year, he played his behind off. He progressed very well, and I mean, this is why he's in that position where he's at in the draft. I think if we go after him, he's a great blocker. He knows how to spread out the field. I mean, his yaks are ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I like him because he's got a little bit of a cockiness to him, and I mean, that's a lot of players coming from the U, so I'm always for that. But yeah, I mean, tight end position would be perfect for Arroyo, and I also went with Ferguson, the same thing. And I mean, the guy's a great blocker. If Arroyo's not there, Ferguson is definitely a guy that I was peeping as well.
He looks like Casper.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the frame, like both the frames on these boys, is what we need, for the blocking and route. So, like, they're great catches as well, and that's what we need. Regardless if we keep Goddard here or not. And I mean, I know we talked about your son, Calcaterra, and he did his thing, but just still, I just think it's just a position that we definitely got to focus on, for the future. And, if Dallas is re-signed and, neither of these guys, including Mason Taylor, is not there, one that I just, Gail helped me out with this one, JT Tuimoloau. Did I say that right? I don't know if I did.
Looks right to me.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, coming from, Ohio State is always known for bringing some great defensive ends. The guy's got some serious power. He's definitely good on pushing the line to get to the quarterbacks. His play strength is just crazy. Watching some of the videos, when Gail shared this with me earlier this morning, I went and tried to catch some of his videos. The guy was getting to the quarterback pretty well, and not sure what the outcome is going to be. I honestly told Gail that this is where I feel like we might trade, in this round. So if that is, what we decide to go ahead and do, this is where I feel like, this defensive end would be a good pick, whatever number we're left at in the second round.
The thing about Fangio is like he likes his edges strong against the run. And now I watched JT, and when people, earlier in the draft process, people had him mocked to us. Then I was like, he doesn't get to the court like he doesn't get to the quarterback how I like them to get to the quarterback at first in the first round. Now if you're moving them down the line, like obviously if he's stronger against the run, and then we put in our uh, designated pass rushers because that's what they're calling them, DPRs now. If he's a DPR, designated pass rusher, then you bring those guys in on third, and then let them get to the quarterback. You bring in those twitchy guys, the Ojalaris of the world. If you want some guys that can just get to the quarterback, so fastballs off the edge. But like if you want a guy that could set the edge for the defense, I like that. Your picks, man. I love Elijah Arroyo and Terrence Ferguson. Again, we had Mason Taylor, me and Ev, but I feel like the tight end position. It's just wild how much time I spent in Mobile, Alabama, in a convention center, sitting there watching these guys throw. It was Dylan Gabriel, it was Tyler Shuff. The quarterback's just throwing with the tight ends, and I'm just watching how they catch the football. I was fanning in there, like you said, watching how the size, how they were built. I'm like, all right, I can see both these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing the homework on Ferguson. Talk about pro in college already. Dude's like about to be married already, or if not married already. Like, just like some of these guys just built different. Like some have great programs. The Bama guys, the Ohio State dudes, the Georgia guys, they're all built different because they're all learning from pros that are becoming. They're all going to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all like a lot of them are polished. Arroyo, great background. I felt like he's always wanted to be. This probably be Prime's like his favorite. That if he could be Arroyo, like he grew up a Canes fan, wanted to be a Cane, like that was his dream team, and then he ends up playing for in part of the resurgence of Hurricanes and being a part of that. There's a lot of dudes on that Hurricanes team that they all came together, and you can see why they had dubs and why Prime.
If that pick happens, I'm running around doing laps the whole way.
Yeah, I mean, and he got the he his love of the game, like his family moved to Mexico when he was a kid, and he's just talking about like he told his parents like, look, I need a football team, so they found a Mexican football team. It's like that kind of stuff. And he
found a way, right?
Him dealing with all the injuries and then finally getting his opportunity shines. It made him. He's gonna make himself some money. So I like your picks. Ever you up next?
Believe so. Yep.
Drum roll for the Ev Meister. Third round picks for Hollywood Hearn.
Yes. So I mean, as I said in the last round, I kind of went with like rich man, poor man. What I shouldn't say poor man, rich man, middle class man. With my picks here. So like I had guys in the secondary in the first round. And if you weren't able to go and get that first round safety, a guy you might consider day 2, Jonas Sanker. I mean, it's a guy I feel like we haven't talked about a ton on this podcast, just between Makuba and the other guys that we go with when we do these mock drafts. But I think that Sanker is a really, really solid player as well. I mean, he has good size for a safety, being 6 foot 206. I think he is just he's coming in with a solid skill set. And I think that you throw him in Vic Fangio's system, I think it's another guy scheme wise that would match up well on the opposite side of Reed Blankenship. I know Antonio Holmes wouldn't take him as high as this. I think, him comparatively, I think the safeties that you got him, Makuba, but it starts to fall off a little bit, in my opinion. I really like Sanker as a prospect, more than some other people as well. But Miles Frazier, that's another guy that, if you weren't able to get that interior offensive lineman in day one or in the first part of day two, I think Miles Frazier's an option there. Another guy that I think Jeff Stoutland would be able to mold into a solid and probably a guy that could compete to start year one. I mean, if you put him in a competition against Steen, I really don't know. I think it would be some great camp competition, add some depth to the line. I would go that way. And then Femi. I mean, we've brought him up a bunch on this podcast. But this is, like I said, if we weren't able to go trenches, if we had went secondary the first couple picks, then I would be going with Femi here, trying to bulk up our defensive line. He's a guy I really like. I think everybody on this podcast really likes as well. We've talked about him a bunch. So, yeah, those are my guys.
Sanker is a guy that I had to go look, do more work on him. But Miles Frazier, again, I think the developmental guard is a thing with the Eagles, and I'm looking at third and fourth rounds for those kind of things. I'll bring you up my board just so you see where I was at and what I was thinking. Let's see. No problem. Oh, whoa.
Take it easy, fella.
So I had Femi as well, and obviously that in our first mock draft, Femi is who I brought up early. And again, thinking about getting edge early, Femi is the developmental edge with only 9 games of experience at the position. So he went down to Senior Bowl. Again, that's why I said anyone come to Senior Bowl, you'll see it. You get to see a guy with only 9 games go up against a crazy, talented tackle in the SEC and then put in work. And then everyone's like, who the hell is this kid? Mm-hmm. The kid who was used to be a linebacker. Now he's an edge player now. And he's raw. And that's a part of it is like, if he's doing this and the team thinks that they can build him into something that they can develop, this is interesting. And then now if you think of the guy that we talked about Cam Jurgens, and we talked about Tony Pauline a couple years ago when he said that if Cam Jurgens was on the board in the second round, the Eagles will draft him. Well, Tony Pauline just mentioned, he said, in conversations last week, I was informed that Oladejo will end up being selected anywhere from 30 to 45. Besides the Niners, who hold pick 43, I am told the Philadelphia Eagles, with the last pick in the round 1, as well as the Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots at the top of round 2, are possibilities to pull the trigger on Oladejo.
Wow.
Now,
sounds like smoke screens to me.
It's a little too rich for my blood. But Pauline, he called Cam Jurgens in the second round on the dot. It's a little high. Mel Kiper had him in his first round. It's just a little high. It's a little high for me.
I got you. I agree.
Moving right along, tight end Harold Fannin Jr., Antonio Holmes' favorite player as well. Shout out to Tim Perkins as well. Also, happy birthday to Tim Perkins, by the way.
Happy birthday, Tim Perkins.
Yes, sir. Tim Perkins texted me while I'm in Alabama. Hey man, could you check out the Bowling Green tight end for me? Send me some videos of Harold Fannin. His QB coach is here in Philadelphia. Our QB coach was his head coach at Bowling Green. So obviously we're trying to figure out, and I'm an all in favor. Now, if we don't get the Taylor is my option if Goddard goes. Goddard stays, you have Goddard, and then coming for your son's head, Calcaterra, you get Fannin, who's got a yak ability and adds some more spice to an already spicy offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not your he had production. Watch him against Penn State. We're talking Bowling Green. We're not talking Tyler Warren. Like Fannin had a great game against Penn State. They're around cornerback Jacob Parrish. I think if you want a feisty corner, I feel like he could play inside. If you want to potentially move Hoop out, if you want to, or Jacob Parrish, a little undersized, but I think he's a feisty. He got the track background. I think he's got the twitch. If I'm not going cornerback early, I need to get Parrish on this team. I just feel like he's got the mental makeup, and I think again, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I like it, honestly. Parrish was a guy that I was looking up as well, in that same area. I do like his competitiveness that he brings to the table. The only thing that kind of I have PTSD, not even from him being on my team, but just watching it happen. I remember Emmanuel Forbes coming into the league, and like you talk about seeing an undersized cornerback just get taken advantage of.
But he was undersized, like his whole frame was makeup
from the get-go.
Yeah,
he was built like Michael Jackson. Like it was like, bro, you need to get like, come on. But I remember we brought Jacob Parrish up early, and then like a couple weeks later, the Eagles brought him in for a visit. I was like, all right, we are on the same scent.
Mm-hmm.
We are on the same scent. Shout out to people in the chat. Parrish is slot right. He plays both.
You think at 5'9" though? I mean, just thinking. All right,
you give him that inch. Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, Fangio likes cornerbacks a certain size, but we saw Avonte Maddox, a rotational piece.
Okay.
So I don't think. I mean, John says Fannin can't block. He did block Carter on a couple plays. But my thing is, it's like, you want to add something spicy to the offense, like Dallas Goedert, and then you got this guy catching tight end screens and doing some crazy things. Again, I'm cool with the other tight ends. I don't want to hurt Prime's feelings in any way.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Because once you lead into mines, I actually got Harold Fannin Jr. part of that.
Yeah, I mean
as well. So
my thing is it's not whoever's there.
You got about good 7-8 tight ends.
We're at the mercy of the board. I'm taking any of those guys, and we'll go right into where you're picking at, Mike G.
Yeah, this is where I feel like Stoutland University is going to, start classes. Class sessions are going to begin. That's why I got my Stoutland University shirt on for tonight's show. I think the Trevor Keegan experiment is going to probably kick in this season. I know we didn't re-sign Becton, but that's because we did draft Keegan last year. I mean, maybe it's time to go ahead and put that into this year's perspective. And then again, I go back to what I said earlier. We want to go with younger, stronger forces. So that's why I went with Fairchild from Georgia. The guy's got some wrestling background, so I mean that says it right there. He could definitely hold his. He's good at the position, and he's ranked high up there to be drafted. This is the round where I feel like we got to focus on bringing an offensive lineman onto the squad. And then I'm with you with Harold Fannin Jr. I mean, like if the other tight ends that I went with aren't there, again we got like about another good 3 or 4 other tight ends that are worth being picked. And Fannin they mentioned various times he's had, I think they said he averaged about 141 yards per game against top 25 AP teams. Like, so the kid, he's got talent. So he's a key. He would be a key attribute to the team. If Dallas was to stay here, or if they went with another tight end in earlier, in the second round. I think we've mentioned a couple shows ago that who's to say that they wouldn't go back-to-back tight ends like they did last year with back-to-back cornerbacks? I mean, it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility. So, Fannin Jr., regardless, being picked in this spot on the squad, I think would be key. And then, my last one was Anthony Benton. The guy, he's very impressive on the line. He really knows how to maintain. He's very bulky, and he's got, that enormous frame that everybody keeps on mentioning about. I just don't see, us going wrong here as well, because, it's always these quiet ones. I mean, NC State isn't really that quiet of a college, but, this position, this college, these guys, these are the ones that, come and really make a name for themselves when they get drafted into the league. So I don't see, any of these three being a bad choice at this round.
Yeah, I mean, I like your picks. I know Junction said Harold Fannin in the second. I'm actually okay with Harold Fannin the bottom of the second. I just was like, if I'm picking DT over, we're just talking about positional value and contracts and money. If I can figure out a player that's I can get later, I'll do it. But I think Prime, you hit it on the Fairchild and Belton. I think those guys would be. That's Stoutland. You, another Georgia Bulldog. I think Fairchild's got some nice traits. I think former wrestler, got the background. I think those guys would fit in nicely as guys that you want to develop. As much as we love Landon Dickerson makes a lot of money. You have to have. It's not like you're trying to move guys out of here, but you have to find younger guys. We got the Trevor Keegans in the world. We have, we got what's his name, Tyler Steen, and we got the trade that we got, the
Green, yeah.
Green. So that's really just you're trying to figure out who can come in here. I think you got to hit the draft mid rounds for that.
I think it's inevitable though that all these guys that we've talked about so far tonight, offensive line wise, I think would be good guys to throw into Stoutland University as an ode to your shirt there, Prime. But I think that I completely agree. I like those picks. I like Fannin. I think he is a solid tight end. I obviously have my opinions where I think that it's broken into tiers, but I think that Fannin is still a legitimate and solid tight end coming out of this draft. And you got to give Stoutland some toys, man. You got to get every single draft. You got to give Stoutland some new things to work with, and because sometimes you'll find that diamond in the rough. You ended up finding an international diamond in the rough in Jordan Mailata, and that took years and years and years of development. But all that hard work, all that studying at Stoutland University, that grad school program paid off, man. It did.
And the fact that Beckton came here last year off of a serious injury with the Jets and came into a new scheme under Stoutland University,
new stadium,
and changed it.
I love it, man. I love it, man. I love the fact that we also got Stoutland, like Ben from Down Under said, Bob from Down Under. Just saying that you got Fangio and Stoutland. Those are the guys that how could you miss when you got those guys in the house?
Those are guys that you have to let have a bunch of influence in your decision as well. If they like a guy. If they really like a guy, I mean, Howie Roseman, I know he's the draft guru, but if they're if Jeff Stoutland or Vic Fangio is standing there in the war room pounding the table for somebody, that's going to hold a lot more weight than a lot of the other guys in the room. So.
Bob from Down There says, did you see the bit on Vic where he has his own secret evaluation process? There's 30 years of doing his own thing. I like that. And none of his coaches know it either. Like he has his process. Bro, that's how you keep your value, man. You know your worth. Jason asked thoughts on Tyler Warren.
Be long gone. I mean,
monster.
Yeah.
Versatile.
It would be amazing to get him, but he doesn't survive outside of the top.
He's not a rowdy tight end. He's a guy that
12
boxes out players and body. Like he just dominates. And he can get you yak, tight end screens. If you want him to play QB in a Wildcat, if you want to do a tush push with this guy, and Jalen's just on the sideline, like this guy could do a lot. Imagine trying to you got Tyler Warren out wide, Dallas Goedert on the other side, if that even ever happened. Saquon, and then you got AJ Dillon in a pony look, and you're like, who are we tackling?
Nobody.
Short yardage. Are we gonna throw it over heads in the goal line, or are we gonna run it though? And then you got Jalen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the funny thing with that play would be that Jalen would end up keeping the ball.
Philly will not trade up for Warren. And if we look at the pay scale on the position, I just want you, because Eagles are that team that looks at this stuff. Moving right along, man.
Fourth round. Evan Hearn.
Mr. Evan Hearn with his stupendous picks. That's your third round refresher. Your fourth round picks.
Yes, sir. So we continue with the same trend. If you can't tell by now, I have an idea about the types of positions I would like to go get in this draft. Savion Jones, he's another guy that, now we're in day 3. If we are sitting here and we haven't, for some reason, taken an edge off the board, I think it had to have happened at some point by now, but crazy things can happen. And if we're still in need of an edge, I think that this is a good spot to go get one. Even if you want to double up and really throw guys in this rotation, I think Jones is a guy that has had some solid production. I think he would be available around the 4th round. Hunter Helm, talk about the whole first class versus middle class options here. Here's your tight end if you still need a tight end. Hunter Helm is a guy that I think, he's got a decent skill set. He's not Fannin. He's not Taylor. He's not Arroyo. But he is a guy that I think can come in here and compete against Calcaterra. Darian Porter. Now, this is a guy that, when we end up doing this every year, I end up doing more and more. Like I was up last night doing a bunch of research on guys, and this is a guy that I happened to stumble upon. And one of my favorite things that popped up on his in his notes, 2021. He had a blocked punt, 2022 blocked punt, 2023 blocked punt, 2024 blocked punt, and a blocked field goal. This guy is a special teams menace. And when you are out there putting up that kind of consistent production on special teams, that tells me that you are playing with a crazy amount of effort. Darian Porter is a guy sitting here at 6'2", 195. He's got size. He runs a 4.30 40-yard dash. He's a guy that if he's sitting here in this 4th round, I mean, he hasn't. The only kind of thing that would kind of be a con in his thing is that he doesn't have a tremendous amount of tape. I mean, he hasn't, like I was mentioning, he has a bunch of stuff that he's done on special teams. But we're talking about day 3 here. I'm looking for a guy that is going to come in, and if you're looking day 3, that's a guy that needs to be producing on special teams. This looks like a guy that will be able to do it, work on his skills, and maybe eventually one day work his way into the starting defensive lineup.
I like your picks, man. I mean, I like the traits of Porter. It's like you have to, like, at this part of the draft, this is where you take dart throws. And if they have the traits, this is where you roll the dice. Again, special teams ability is a thing. If you're the back end corners, hello, Killy Ringo, who's been phenomenal. If he wants to step his game up and they got to take him off special teams and you got to bring someone else in, so be it. Gunnar Helm is a guy that did I spell his name wrong?
Hunter Helm.
Hunter Helm.
What are we, Triple H?
My bad. But I think he might not be. I know his 40 was like a 4.8 something. He was running with a leg injury. But overall, I just think in line and at the catch point, I think he's a solid option. Like you see him out there, full extension, making really nice grabs. I think he's there for his QB. So I'm liking that option if I have to move back. Last case, like if we got Goddard and they're like, oh, let's grab somebody in the fourth.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is your
perfect.
Yeah.
But Porter's that guy. I was gonna say that I'm kind of on day 3. I'm gonna be sitting here pounding the table for if he's still sitting around in the 4th, 5th round.
I gotta be honest though, Evan. I mean, I accidentally watched Porter videos earlier today, accidentally, because I was just it wasn't my guy, it was your guy, and I was like, wait a minute, but I was enjoying the film because I saw they actually had a cut with all those highlights that you just mentioned with the blocks that he had. Special teams. Hey man, it starts there, so why not? Like I'm not mad at that pick if it was to happen, especially on round 4. So
thank you.
He's clutch.
I like it. Moving right along, my 4th round guys. Andrew Makuba. Now, I know Ev and Primo had safety early. For me, if I'm sticking to my look at the numbers, follow the math. If I can get Makuba now, like Makuba back end, he got some range. The way he flies around the field reminds me of someone that just left a little bit. Not nothing, but Makuba. Telling you, man, his family's from Africa. You tell me that, I'm like, bro, he's built different. Like his mindset's a little different. The Haitian corner, like, bro, like when Sam still went to Washington, I was like, they got my guy. But Makuba is a guy that I'm fully interested in. The size might, and some of the minor tackling things might, not excite some people, but just the range and his ability, I think him on the back end would be interesting. Now Kyle Williams is a guy that I've been talking about since I got back for the Senior Bowl. Been in a lot of our mocks. If you listen to a lot of analysts are now. It's the kind of thing where you start mentioning players, and then if you see someone like later on, like that you really respect, start mentioning them. I'm like, all right, I'm on the right path. And it's like those are kind of things where when I'm down in Alabama, I'll look at players that I'm like, we're not going no wide receiver in the 2nd round, 1st round. Well, I don't think we're doing that. I don't really think we're doing that. So you got to look at the guys at the back end that have traits and they're doing things in these one-on-one drills. Kyle Williams' production is crazy. I think he's a guy that he's getting a lot of love now, and I'm just like, okay, maybe can we get him in the 4th now? Because I'm like, maybe we get him in the 4th round. I'm like, I don't know about that now. Because if the Jeremiahs of the world and the Brugler start talking about him, like, I'm like, maybe they're going higher now. So, but I do think if we can get him in the 4th round, that would be fantastic. Fairchild, I was also, if I can get him in the 4th round, I think talking about a guy. And when you get these prospects that are on the freaks list, and Bruce Feldman puts out a freaks list every year, 440-pound bench press, 470-pound squat. Not as good as Jalen, but 470-pound squat, 370 power clean. That wrestling background, that is a Stoutland pick. That is Stoutland all over it. So I'm thinking just with our drafts, like we all have similar pieces where developmental prospects. We got Fairchild again, also professional
Yeah, we'll be about
from
that.
the best college, Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I mean, on Makuba as well. I mean, I obviously brought up different safeties, but Makuba is a guy that we've talked about a bunch on the show, and I like him as well. I was just trying to highlight some other guys that I like as well in Sanker and that. But if we ended up walking away with Makuba after the draft, I'm not at all complaining.
Shout out to Johnny. So dart throws start after 200 pick. This draft has a good depth, 125 through
all of our
175.
picks are before 175. So
Yeah,
I'm sitting here thinking honestly, like we all know what's going to happen, right? Like Howie is going to put some of those 5th round picks and they're going to turn into 6 7s. They're going to turn into 6 7s next year, that sort of thing. I think he'll go volume, but we'll see.
Before we move on, we want to give a big shout out to Underdog Fantasy, man. All you got to do is use the promo code Jawn and get up to $1,000 of bonus cash and a free pick at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you download the app. Do you ever watch sports and find yourself wishing there was a way to get into the game? Well, Underdog is the way to do it, man. This is the way. All you got to do is download the Underdog app, sign up now using the promo code Jawn to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in the fun, and you sign up with the promo code Jawn. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts, Arizona, and President State where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern where you play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. And that's Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you download the app. Use the code Jawn. You know the word. Now moving right along to Primo's pick in the 4th round. Are we in the 4th round for you?
Yeah, we're in Primo's 4th.
4th round.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like this is the round where I don't want to say that we missed out, but the round, the draft can take different directions. So we can mix it up with grabbing some players that are pretty much the next best available in this the slot. Wyatt Million was one that stood out. The guy's well known for being fast on his first step. When it comes to the pass protection. I mean, I think that's something Stoutland would definitely appreciate and focus a lot on if they were to go, with this pick. He picks up on stunts and twist pretty well. Another thing that Stoutland will probably catch on. The next person was Jet and Blue. Now I know we're stacked on the running back position. Last year we were almost focusing on 4 running backs. There's a possibility we could probably still be doing the same thing. AJ Dillon, yes, I know we picked him up. He's had some serious injuries in his career. Not knocking him. Hopefully this will be a turnaround year for him. But we still got to go ahead and play smart and maybe focus on the future. And I think Jaden Blue, from Texas, is a good pick here. Guy's pretty fast and he breaks. He's got a lot of breaks within his career at Texas. He's pretty versatile when it comes to the running game. And then Jamari Caldwell from Oregon. I know Mark Bird's going to appreciate this one. He's another one who's pretty good on the first step. Versatile. He's fast with the blocking. Picks up the again also on stunts. I don't see this being a bad choice if this was the route that we had to take in this round. We got to definitely eventually focus on the future again for these positions.
I love it. I mean, you're gonna see why I like one of those guys in my next one. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good reasoning and rationale and good picks and guys we would go for here. I mean, you talk about getting that Stoutland University piece. Although I will say Wyatt looks like a state trooper. If I'm being completely real, he looks like a state trooper.
You getting flashbacks of?
Yeah.
Sure. Can you roll down your window, buddy?
But nonetheless,
what was that? What was that? The Buffalo trip?
Yeah, coming back from Buffalo.
Being in your 20s and just having a mustache,
Yeah,
like a thick mustache, no, like that is a
cop look.
It's a bold look. It's a bold look. Speaking
Anyway,
bold,
but yeah, a lot of
bold.
guys talking about how Jaden Blue was a top 30 visit for the Eagles. So definitely a guy that's on their radar as well.
Now go right into your 5th round picks, and again, this is if you look where the picks are at, we got 161. Oh, that's mine. Forget that you saw that.
I didn't
Let's
see.
see. You're right here. We have the 161st pick, 164, 165, 168. Like that is for a GM drafting in the 5th round. Like just line all my players up, and we could just say bang, 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 bang. How you like that?
Perfect.
Hold on, let me get myself up here. So I talked about safety a bunch in this draft. I've obviously talked about the different tiers here. This is we're entering day 3 and we still haven't taken a safety off the board. I think I'm kind of sitting here in panic mode a little bit because I think that, like I've said, is a huge void to fill with CJ GJ being gone. But day 3, guys, this guy Maxon Hook, I liked what I saw out of him. It doesn't come from a big school. Another Toledo guy, just like our guy Quinyon. They have familiarity there. But he was first team All MAC the past 3 years. He has been consistent. I think if you're sitting here in the 5th round, like I said, without a safety, that's a guy I'd be going after. Cody Simon, linebacker out of Ohio State. I mean, not much else I really got to talk about. I think that he is a guy that he's a proven athlete. I think as we get deeper in this draft, I'm looking for depth. I'm not exactly looking for a guy that's going to come in and be a contributor day 1. These are depth pieces, not starters. So Cody Simon is a guy I think with he's got a good skill set, and you put him in a young group here. I would like to see some more depth in our linebacking core. 5th round, day 3, I feel like is a good time to go for it. Prime, I also love myself some Jaden Blue. I got to watching him as well. Obviously, after the top 30 visit with the Eagles, that kind of perked everybody's ears up to him. But the Eagles seem to like him. The play, he's a guy that can, just go to the house on any play that, is very reminiscent of Saquon Barkley. And you think about just how dominant Saquon was in this offense. A lot of it has to do with just how good of a line is in front of him. You put Jaden Blue in this offense as a kind of change of pace type of dude. And, with this offensive line in front of him, I think he can really succeed. And my last guy, Isaac Tesla. We've talked about him a bunch on this show, but he is a guy that if you're looking at athletically was the best, ranked wide receiver coming into this draft. He's a guy that I think about, and I'm not at all comparing him to him, but when I think about the top athletic guy coming into the draft as a wide receiver, I don't know about you, but where my mind goes to is DK Metcalf and how everybody passed on DK Metcalf because they said he didn't have a route tree, but he just dominated at the combine, and it made no sense to me as much as he did with how dominant an athlete he is. I think Isaac Tesla is a pretty dominant athlete. I don't think he's DK Metcalf. That's not what I'm sitting here saying, but I think that he has the physical attributes to be a legitimate good player in this league, and he primarily can eat in the slot. And you think about how he would fit in this offense between AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. You put a guy that is almost 6'4" and 215 in the slot, that is just a freak athletically. I would love it. I even said to Gail earlier, wouldn't necessarily even be upset if they kind of pulled the trigger on that in the fourth round. If maybe you package some of those fifth round picks and get back into the fourth again with a second, fourth round pick, and you went and got Tesla. So that's my deep day 3. You guys are both muted.
Very, very interesting. I don't want to catch you my breathing. Sometimes I cut myself off.
He definitely cuts me off.
We both, real talk. Me and Prime both snore, so we have a heavy breathing. I thought this was the lead singer of Pantera, Mac Cook. I was like,
he looks like he listens to some heavy metal, man.
Yeah, dude. Very, very interesting. Moving right along to my fourth round or my fifth round picks. And again, we got the same wide receiver in our
same running back too.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because Isaac Tesla. It's weird, man. I could just start sifting out the players at the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, who is that? I was like, I don't even know that. I'm looking at the paper. I'm like, and he was like a last minute ad. Like, it was like, and he was basically telling me after he got off when I was interviewing, just that how he was just like happy to just get the opportunity to be there, and for him to get the opportunity was just like, and then he put on. He said that I said describe 5 wide receivers that if you could build your perfect wide receiver. He said Megatron, and Megatron. So all about Calvin Johnson. But he's a guy that, he doesn't have a lot of production, and he came from a smaller school and then transfers and then gets the opportunity to be a contributor at Arkansas. And then it's like, there's just some sick grabs that he has. And I'm not going to say he's like super twitchy. I mean, he's got some twitch in his game, but he's got some stiffness a little too. But like the way that he's at the catch point, he's got a reel of one-handed catches at the lower levels. Like just a sick one-handed grab. I don't know. His coach must have yelled at him for like stop catching with one hand type stuff. Just grab with 2 hands, stop showing. But he had that flash. That flash showed at the Senior Bowl, and then at the Combine he performed. Like you said, very interesting prospect. I think he's intriguing, and I'm like, I planted my flag early, and now I just watched a podcast with Jeremiah Brugler, and Tesla is the guy they brought up, and I was like, well, goddamn, I'm on the right track. Now Jaden Blue is a guy that if you're talking about a prospect that if you're looking for a running back on the back end who plays special teams on coverage on the coverage team, who does that sound like? We're looking for our next Gainwell. The fact that he got a visit was great. I think him in space, he's a guy that can break off big runs. He's got some juice like that. You're going to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs light. I'm not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs, but I'm sure Howie watched Jahmyr Gibbs and what he did for the Lions offense. So add that little wrinkle that could be interesting in our offense. Jalen Travis, again, another guy who I latched on too early at the Senior Bowl. Again, did my homework, finds out that we had the same coach. He played at Princeton before going to Iowa State. Looked at his size. I was like, bro, this kid right here, like, he looks. I mean, he was getting worked a little here in Senior Bowl practices, but he has the tools and traits that I was like, I like. I'm like, okay, let me do some more homework. Then I'm like, bro, this kid, he gets a scholarship for like for his off the field duties. He wants to be a lawyer after his days are done. But he's a guy. The conversation was fantastic. Go watch the interview on YouTube. And I'm not trying to be like, when you interview a player, then you're like, oh, like, or just because I interview him. There's a reason why I'm trying to get these interviews, and believe me, I'm fighting 100 reporters to get these interviews in a matter of seconds. They open the room and the reporters run. So the fact that I got him, and then again, I'm starting to hear all the Bruglers of the world and Jeremiah's in their last podcast together. Who do they have? Jalen Travis. And then the fact that the Eagles brought him in for an interview was even, I'm like, all right, well, maybe we're on the right path. So, and then Edge Q Robinson, a guy who's, you're talking about guys that are trying to get opportunities, and he's at Bama, and he's playing behind guys that, in limited play. I think he's a guy that can come in, give us some juice and develop maybe the next Jalix Hunt. He's got some ability. I'm stealing off you in terms of on special team snaps, has a lot of special teams ability. So I think he's a guy that he could start there, but I think he's got some juice off the edge. I don't think he's going to be a big run defender or anything, but by all means, he's got the length. I think
Antonio's got it.
I'm telling you, man. I feel like there's like a lot of depth at the back end. Like, and we're not even at the back end with this draft. 5th round. If we can get some of these guys to contribute, that would be so nice.
So, how do you think that? What do you think the realistic play is with these 5th round picks? Because we're all in agreement, right, that it's not going to be spent how it's laid out currently, right?
Yeah, I don't see us picking all picks in this 5th round. I definitely agree with you. I think it's going to get spread out, and like you said, into next year's draft. But I don't know. I mean, I know when Gail throws my lineup up there, I feel like this is the round. This is the steal round. Great talent comes out of these late rounds. 5th round right here. Again, with the lineup that I got, I just feel like one of these guys that I picked is going to be that steal player. So
I got you, Primo.
Yeah. So, I appreciate it. Thank you. Dante Thornton definitely stands out. Just looking at the image, the guy makes me just want to pick him. Like he's a dog. He's ready to go to work, man. He's great with the deep ball. He knows how to track the ball down very well. And he's known for comeback routes. Like, he's real good at that. He just doesn't give up on the play. He'll find an open spot for Jawn if need be. If he gets drafted to the Eagles. I know we're solid on the wide receivers. Dotson is still, iffy. Wish we got a little more out of him last year, but this is a new year, new season. It could be different, but we still got to go ahead and focus on, just still filling in that gap if we need to. Restrepo definitely is one that stands out for me again because he plays for the U. Absolutely, and I've been watching a lot of tape. I've been watching a lot of his game. The guy reminds me so much of a Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, like that type of wide receiver, slot receiver that will be so key for this squad. I think this will be a dream come true if this man gets picked wearing the Philadelphia Eagles. Not only would I run laps making the U sign, I will personally have a Miami Hurricanes under my jersey that night. Just when it happens, I'm running laps in my Hurricanes jersey. Like, that's how excited I would be to see Restrepo play for us. He would fit in just so perfectly, man. So that's one I'm eyeing on day 3. Xavier Truss, offensive tackle. The guy's versatile lineman with experience at both tackle and guard. So, it's good to know that we can go ahead and utilize him in different positions. He's great on the pass protection, rarely giving ground against bull rushes and maintaining a solid base. So, again, like this will be a steal, especially the fact, he's coming from what was it, the college he was coming from again? Georgia. Yeah. I mean, like, again, why not stick with the Georgia Bulldogs? He's ranked 49th in that position. So, I mean, like, if he's there, why not? I mean, we got to go ahead and put something on the board, for Stoutland to go ahead and play around with, and this would be a perfect pick for him. And then my last one, Cam Horsley, coming from Boston College. I don't know, man. It's just something about Boston College defensive ends that defensive tackles or defensive ends, like they're just beasts, man. Like they got no fucks given. Excuse my language, but like they just don't care. Like they'll put it all on the field, and I think this will be a solid pickup. At this round. Especially when we have to focus on, the future when it comes to that position. Some of these guys only got maybe 1 or 2 more years left on their contract. And, the route that Howie's going is, he wants to stay young and he wants to save as much money as possible. So, wouldn't be surprised if Horsley's there, this will be the pick in the 5th round. But again, we all can agree that all these picks are not going to go ahead and be utilized in the 5th round. It's going to get spread out some way, somehow. So we got to pretty much be prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Xavier Strepo again, a guy that I looked at the Senior Bowl. Another interview that we have up on 4th and Jawn. Check his. Really, I told him that he's like his QB's best friend. Really, his answer was like exactly what I needed to hear. Like he was like, you got to know when to fade a route, and you got to fade into the soft spots of the zone, and he said that he's like, I'm glad that you said a best friend, because Cam Ward, he's one of my best friends off the field, and he's like, as a best friend, he said you have to know what your friend is thinking ahead of time, and as a QB, knowing where his wide receivers are going to be, I think that's where his strength is. And again, I know Antonio had asked, he's like, 5th round. Whoa. I mean, that 40 time that he ran in the 4.8 in the NFL, you run in a 4.8. That is like,
that's bricks in your shoes. Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, it happens. Guys run bad 40 times, whatever. But the NFL there's certain thresholds where they will drop you.
But is he questioning the fact that he would be here in the 5th round, like picking a wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, because pre-draft process, before when it started the draft process, he was around like 3rd.
Yeah, that's cool though. But I mean,
bro,
can I just? No. I definitely hear what you're saying, but just to go to that comment, let's go back to the name that I just mentioned, Julian Edelman. The man was drafted in the 7th round.
Exactly.
In the 7th round. And look what he did. So come on, you can't.
I mean, even what's his name from? He played at Clemson and played with the Raiders.
I know who you talk about. Who played with the right? Yeah, I know who you talk about.
He looked like
who's now like a foreman or something.
I mean, it's like
he's working a regular job now. Yeah.
If you have a role as a wide receiver, as like a slot, playing in the flats, like we rolled Britton Covey out there. Yes, Hunter Renfrow, Tim. Shout out to Tim.
Renfrow, yep.
Renfrow. Like if we have Britton Covey running these like little bubbles and like but again, we're talking 5th round, and it's not like a lot of analysts outside of the Eagles space have us have like Luther Burden from like. We're not. We all can be wrong, but we're not going. We're not going there. We're not going there. We're not trading AJ to the Patriots, even though we radio sister. I think they're sisters radio station, WIP in some sense. They've been drumming up that narrative.
Oh man,
of AJ being traded and making a reunion with Rabel. Like it's shout out to the Camden police for finding and Dom for finding AJ Brown's car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how salty CJ was that they found this card. Like, where was that effort when my card was stolen?
Yo, CJ's stuck in his feelings, bro. I reached out to a couple of my boys in CMD, like just joking with them, like, yo, man, tell your cousins to stop playing with my wide receivers card, man. Return that shit. They were like, yo, how come we can't get our cars? How come we can't get our cars back as fast as AJ did?
I was like,
yo,
saying,
you don't got a dime.
I'm like,
What do you want me to tell you?
I was reading all the comments. They're like, supposedly there's some chop shop in Deptford. Is that the thing?
Oh man, listen,
You're saying that as if anybody on the end would know.
He knows
the
that.
fact that he left it out on one of the main streets is wild. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do it, I guess you need to do it way better than what you did. But
you got to take it to Los Santos Customs.
I was like, yeah. And then people in our comments, because I posted on our socials, people were like, "Yeah, tell AJ it wasn't Philly, man. It was Jersey, man. You see, that's in Jersey.
Stop.
You live in Haddonfield, and it was in Camden. It has nothing to do with Philly."
Man. Yeah, I saw some of those comments. Like, man,
you owe us an apology.
Like, yo, y'all reach.
Hey, Pete, that's Pro Bowler Covey, the guy that you were trying to bury and put him in the ground. Man did his thing.
He did get in the ground. So.
Man did his thing. Okay. What have you done, Pete Nathan, besides cook amazing meals and doing amazing stuff with food? Check out his YouTube channel if you really want to learn how to cook. But are we on? We're moving on right along to your final list, right? Was that our final? That was our final list, right?
That was our final.
Yeah. Shout out to Tim Kincaid. We're just gonna bring some of his picks up. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but I wanted to bring up some of his picks. We'll run through those quickly, and those of you that are crazy that want to stick around for a mock, we will be doing a quick mock after that. We're just bringing up Tim's picks here. Shout out to it was their anniversary, Tim.
It was 13 years, I believe. Yep.
Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. It's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Speak amongst yourselves so I bring in one more of these picks here.
Evan, what you doing on draft day?
On draft day, I'm going to be at my work because my boss, congratulations to him and his wife, they just had a baby today. And so
congrats.
Yeah. Congratulations to them.
I'm sorry. I do remember seeing your message. Yeah, my bad.
It's okay.
Forgot about that. Yeah, my
bad. Want to give it we're going to be at the draft party on Thursday for the first night. If any of you crazy people out there want to jump on a live stream, I could be talked into sitting there and talking about the draft for 4 hours. So I know Ev's got to work, but shout out. I know John hit some of the DMs. Would love to have you on if you want to jump on and be a part of it. It's an open invite to anyone crazy enough to speak about the draft.
I'll be checking in. I just
it's draft season is really just I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
And I feel like
it's you and Howie Roseman's Super Bowl.
I feel like I'd never get to watch the first round because I'm at the Eagles draft party. Hey, Gabe, what shirt you got on? I'm like, I don't want to talk about any merch.
Locked in right now, pal.
Locked in, bro. Locked in. Pete, Nathan, we talked about Mike Green earlier. I think it's definitely an option if Big Dom has figured out what's going on with this situation. Tim says, how quick will we be out of the door if they trade back? Probably fast.
But they won't trade back probably until their pick. So,
Kelsey Bryant out here. Stay focused. Talking about the Eagles here. Real quick, let's go through Tim's picks real quick. He had Walter Nolan, like a lot of us. Nick Imanwari and Malachi Starks. He took a little sampling of Prime and Evans mock draft. Interesting picks right there. So I think Tim's in the same ilk. Again, none of us talked. We all put our picks out there. So solid options there. In the second round, Tim went tight end Mason Taylor. We're all pretty much on that train. The tight end train from second to third. I think we're all there. Isaiah Bond is the guy that he's got some juice. I think he was the only one that went second in the wide receiver in the second. Wow. I think he's going off the edge. I mean, James Pierce falling train. Recently, Jeremiah dropped James Pierce 7 spots in his mock. Like dropping someone 7 spots in your mock the last day of the draft. It goes on to everything from the first interview that I listened to like the extra stuff I'm getting. I'm like, if I'm hearing what I'm hearing, he's hearing it tenfold. So he must hear something to drop Pierce 7 spots. I'm not discrediting Pierce. I love the player, love the profile. Tim's third round pick is exactly what I had in the third.
Wow. That made that graphic easy.
I was like, thank God, Tim. His fourth round picks, he went Cameron Williams, edge Savion Jones, took a little Ev flair there.
Cameron Williams,
he's a beast. I like that. I like that developmental tackle. Could be he's the size of Mekhi Becton a little bit. Omar Norman, lot DT, twitchy. I like that. He's got some juice. He's got a nice little motor. I think I'd be interested on him. I went TJ Sanders earlier in my mock, and Omar Norman lot undersized a little bit, but I think I'd have him in play if I had to reach for some more DTs. If you're looking for the DT on passing downs, that might be an option. To finish it out, his fifth round picks, he went with center Joshua Gray. He went with DT Nazir Stackhouse, I think from the Bulldog. Kobe Bryant, Kansas cornerback, and then every mock draft we've done, Tim Kincaid has said Kobe King. Kobe King looks. That's a 30-year-old. That's a 30-year-old profile right there.
Kobe Bryant and Kobe King.
It's a lot of Kobe. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, yo, I like the fact that Kobe is a thing.
Any relation to Jerry Stackhouse, by the way?
He looked like he ate Jerry Stackhouse. Andy says some news about Eagles trading up for Jalen Walker. Haven't seen that. Helena says nothing can bother me. Philly's gonna Philly. Like it's Philly, man. The Phillies. Every game that I've gone to this year, Phillies game, they've won.
Keep going. Buy more tickets then.
Just saying.
We're just saying too. Buy more tickets.
So we're gonna move right along. This is really our last mock draft before the draft. So
before we get a fresh year picture of something like this, who is this for? Was this the Kobe?
Kobe Dean.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kobe's, I'm getting the draft ready.
Talk amongst yourselves.
It's been a great ride.
So let's hope. I mean, I'm looking at the AI generated image here. I'm just hoping that Howie's cooking something better than some SpaghettiOs on Great Draft Night.
Yo, don't be knocking SpaghettiOs, young boy.
SpaghettiOs. I've ate many a SpaghettiO.
A lot of us grew up on SpaghettiOs.
Frugal Gang approved. I love me some SpaghettiOs. I'm just saying, Howie Roseman that's his night to chef out. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like to this day, even when I walk into daycares to go to pick up my little nieces or my little cousins or whatever, that SpaghettiO smell never leaves the daycare. It's always in the daycare kitchen. You guys ever? Well, you probably know. Yeah, I know Gil has no reason to go into a daycare.
No, we both don't. We were taking care of our pet cats.
Yeah. we would end up on a list if we ended up in a daycare.
Right.
He would end up on the list. Excuse me. What are you doing here?
I thought my Howie AI was pretty amazing.
I liked it. I thought it
Not
was
knocking it. Nah,
Yeah.
it was cool.
I was actually gonna make some merch. I said make Howie, a guy that looks like Howie Roseman into the Chef Boyardee character. And
So
bang.
if this is the last one, we have to really decide: are we gonna do any trades here, or
I mean, I think do you want to slow play the we'll just go ahead and hit the button.
go for it? Yeah.
Just hit the button. I got so many. If you saw how many, here we go. All right, so we're gonna hit for those listening on the road and not watching the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and start this draft off. Do we feel like we need to trade up? We're gonna put our Howie thinking caps on? Are we gonna
put it for just the first round? Put it slower, and then we'll stop at like 25 if possible, and see if you guys want to do something like that, and see what's available at 25, and see if it's worth moving up for.
Okay, I'm starting. It's a mid. It's going pretty
half speed. Yeah.
Okay, so hitting the button. Travis.
I say pause it around like 25-ish.
So right now, any of the guys that we talked about,
yeah.
Michael Williams went 14. Any players that else we talked
about?
Walker,
same frame.
That they were just talking about the Eagles are going to trade up for him.
Yeah, Tyler Warren. 10. Tyler Warren, tight end, who we're never going to get, just went 11th. Loveland, 12. So that was like both tight ends off the board, the top ones.
I'm sorry. Can I see who went for top 5 real quick?
We have Cam Ward going number 1.
Wow.
Travis Hunter number 2 to the Browns. Abdul Carter. This is sounding like pretty much a lock right now. They said Travis Hunter is a lock at 2. Abdul Carter pretty much a lock at 3. If they don't go Shador.
Lucky bastard.
Jets take Shador in this situation. So we got some guys left on the board. So I'm gonna resume it as it goes. You guys want to slow roll it to 24?
Do it at the same speed. Just let it roll. Stop it at 25.
Okay. Stopped at 22. Guys that went off the board. Jahdae Barron, who I'm very high on just as a slot, but he's got some versatility. Ezra Raku went to the Seahawks at 18. Josh Simmons, tackle, went to the Bucks. Derek Harmon, Mark Bird size.
Are we able to see what players are available right now?
Let's see. Mike Green went off the board at 21 to the Steelers. Your picks. It's not showing who's available.
That's pretty stupid. Yeah, I don't think it does until it gets to your first pick.
Do we feel like we need to trade up? Are we gonna?
I'm trying to think about who's there. Ezra Raku's gone. Jade's gone. Mike Green's gone.
Starks is there.
Is there. Harrison's there. Let it go 2 more picks, and then let's trade. If the 2 of those guys, neither of those guys go off.
Because I'm looking at the Vikings picks right here. Because it would be interesting options, as the Vikings currently have only 4 picks in this NFL draft. They have the 24th overall pick, and they have their next pick is in the 3rd round, number 97. Do they feel like an option? Their next pick after that is 139 and 187. Vikings. They gotta be they would love to get more picks.
Mm-hmm. All right, so resume for one more pick, and then or Trish trade with the Vikings now, I guess, right?
Okay, well, let's carry on. Carry on to 32. We get Pierce Jr. That's what 2020 says. He's trying to wait it out, B. You want to
Pierce's red flags to me. I'm let it on Pierce at 32.
So you want to let it go, or you want to make it offer a trade?
Yeah, let's let it go because I'm already getting.
Yeah, let's just let it go.
You said let it go?
Yeah.
Let it go. No, yeah, let it go. What are we doing? We're gonna let the one go and then trade with Minnesota?
Do you want to try and trade up?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's the last mock. Let's just have fun with it.
Okay.
All right.
24 Minnesota Vikings. We're offering them. We want 24. We're going to give them 32. We're going to give them 161
and 168.
And then I'm going to give them a 5th round next year.
Okay, yeah.
I like it.
Can we get anything else from them in return?
Probably not.
Offer trade.
Wouldn't they probably want more than that in real life. So we're going to offer the trade. They said no.
Trade.
We're going to give them a 4th round next year. They said no. We're going to give them a 3rd round next year. 3rd round next year, and a 161.
All right. Offer the trade.
They said yes. They said yes, y'all.
Now go.
So we were on the board here, and
Malachi Starks.
Malachi Starks
is
on the board. Luther Burden is on the board. James Pierce Jr. is on the board. Kenneth Grant.
Walter Nolan on the board.
Matthew Golden on the board. Walter Nolan on the board.
Starks for me.
Shamar Stewart, All-Star Grill, top 10 grill on the board.
Brandon said we overpaid.
Huh?
Brandon saying we overpaid for that trade. But
It's all right, Brandon.
I say Starks or Nolan.
Starks or Nolan?
Uh-huh.
I think I could be talked to Nolan here. I'm cool with Walter Nolan. That would be nice.
All right.
That would be nice. Is Chad okay with that?
Starks seems Cozy wants Starks. Brandon wanted either of these guys. Pete wants Starks. Helene wants Nolan.
Let's go Nolan.
Yeah, I'm in.
For the people. There we go, baby. Well, here we go, baby. We did it. We got ourselves a tackle. We stuck to the value of the contract board. Them DTs and them edges are expensive. I know. Let's see, guys that went off the board before us. TJ Sanders, who we spoke of.
We still have a few before I pick you.
I'm just talking about some of the guys that Mason Taylor off the board. JT Tuimoloau. Wow, Tuimoloau. JTT off the board. Pierce went 38 in this. Wow, he went 38. God damn. Maxwell Harrison 34. Interesting.
Oh, I know who's there.
Okay. Let's resume this draft. We have 2 picks. 2 picks and on the board.
Interesting.
Demetrius Knight, Shamar Turner.
No, Shamar Turner, but we just got what's his face?
Oh, sitting by his Losum. Elijah Arroyo. Okay, let's see tight ends. We have Arroyo, Ferguson, Fannin, Gunnar Helm looking us in the face at tight end. Edges. We have Jack Sawyer, Jared Ivey, Kyle Kennard, Josiah Stewart, Jordan Birch, Elijah Roberts, David Walker, Femi.
I say wait for Femi, and we go with
Tight end.
Arroyo now.
Tight end. Here, tight end it is. Primo, or I mean, Norman Lott's still available.
Draft the Royal.
I mean, we're sticking with the guys that we talked about tonight. And he was
Yeah.
We did
Come
talk
on,
about.
man.
We did talk about Orman. We did talk
That's
about.
cool.
Orman.
Draft the Royal.
Who had Norman Lott on their board?
Tim did.
Tim did, right?
Okay, we're gonna go with Elijah Arroyo. Primo has his moment. Goes out to the store. Primo, your phone is buzzing like a
Am I?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So we're going into the third round. We're at pick number 96.
Look who's still there.
Xavier,
Look who's still there.
Xavier Restrepo, Josh Farmer. If we're thinking about interior, this is interesting. Savion Williams, probably not.
Anthony Belton.
Charles Grant, Anthony Belton. We also have edge David Walker, who also had he's a pretty interesting prospect. A smaller prospect though. Elijah Roberts, he did have a visit with the Eagles. How you guys feeling?
Harris, Sanker.
I think you should go edge somewhere. I mean, Elijah Roberts would be interesting.
I think Belton's also interesting.
Unless you really want to go. Did what's his name get off the board? Did we lose Femi? Wow.
Wow, he went.
Wow, we lost him. I say we
Ashton.
Our next pick is 134.
So then go with the edge here.
Yeah, I'm just trying. Let's go. We'll go Elijah. We'll stick. This Elijah Roberts had a visit with the Eagles, so if we're gonna.
Yeah, go with him.
David Walker would be. He's small though, man. He's small, but
go Roberts.
Elijah Roberts from SMU edge. We're moving on to 134.
Xavier got picked up. Damn it.
It's interesting that one trade threw off. Tesla goes in the fourth round now. Look, what are they up? What PFF
I said that earlier.
They updated their system here.
Man, they're really deciding. KC.
What's this all about, dude?
Resume it.
It's frozen. Why is it freezing?
Try and trade him for it, because if you refresh it, then it's going to start over.
You think so?
Yeah, just trade the picks.
Oh God.
Cozy's right. The app didn't like the last pick. Should have went with Restrepo.
Shout out to the PFF board for
crashing. Yeah.
That's tough.
We had Walter Nolan, Elijah Arroyo, Elijah Roberts. 4 picks to go. You got to be kidding me.
Arroyo wasn't the pick. The damn thing crashed when he picked Elijah.
This is for all you guys listening live.
Very, very disappointing.
I want you to hit up PFF and you say, you know what? Get your shit together. Prime's gonna get in trouble. Kids are gonna be left hungry. Yeah, why is this happening?
Just went.
Oh, the site's probably crashed itself.
Yeah. Everybody.
Hey, you got everybody in their podcast doing their fucking mock draft right now.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Pete says, clear your cache.
They said cache. It's all that you gotta do some deleting on your computer, maybe.
Does David Walker drop farther than he's supposed to because being I mean he's just what the hell, dude? It's back up. Oh, you bastard, man. You bastard, man. Let's fast track this. I know, Prime. I know you're gonna get it. I know. We're gonna try. We're gonna go for the 24th pick again.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Let's start the draft. Yeah.
I'm gonna trade for it now.
But you don't know who's gonna be there.
He'll be there. Don't you worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. We give him a
Fuck it. Offer trade.
So I'm not gonna allow that.
No, just throw in that.
What? Okay. Start draft. We secured ourselves a 24th spot. Okay. Because we knew, right? We knew
That
Walter was going to fall into our laps. Okay.
Same situation.
Okay. We're going to just.
Takes. Yeah.
Just draft him, man. Why are we looking? Come on.
So, Walter Nolan, we got him. We got him. Everyone's happy. Howie's fist bumping. He's got his swaggy suit on.
Cozy pissed again.
Cozy. Look where all the safeties that are getting paid get drafted these days.
Yeah,
they get drafted in the second round.
Royal. Yeah, same
there.
Same thing. It's lining up for us. Just take a Royal.
Ooh, Makuba. Ooh.
Our Royals there. Gail hit the draft.
So we get Elijah Roy like we did in the last draft. Heading into the third round.
Now we have a chance at redemption here because I'm pretty sure
Roberts was not the pick.
he was not the pick.
We're in the third round of the draft.
And
Restrepo, damn it!
We got Roberts on the board. Our beloved Femi is he's not hanging around in these drafts anymore, guys. So we have to stick. Roberts is what we drafted in the last one, right?
Yeah, that's what crashed.
The Matrix didn't like it.
that one's all on Gale, folks.
If it happens again,
We had to keep it in line with what we had.
It's actually a miracle through a simulator that we were able to get the exact same thing again. But
David Walker off the board, edge.
all right.
Oh, so we're not going QBs. Josh Farmer, interior. Justin Wiley, cornerback.
Fairchild.
Fairchild's there.
Jaden Blue. Dylan Fairchild. Yes. I'm not mad at that, my guy. Isaiah Bond still on the board. Anybody scragglers? How about we go? You guys good with Fairchild?
Yep.
I'll go with Fairchild.
Sweet fair child of mine. Yay, yay. Feeling good about the draft so far. Are you?
Yeah, I feel a whole lot better. It's just,
I want to see how. Like, I feel like Edge could have been
sexier.
Could have been sexier. What do we still got at Edge right now?
Got Tyler Barron, also from the U. He was going to be on my list, but I left him off.
Dante Thornton, one of the Primo's guys.
I think. I mean, Bear would be interesting here. You got terrible sack dances, man. By the way, great interview though. It's not every day you see a prospect listen to jazz music in his 20s. Listen to jazz music, this guy. You looking for edges here?
Yeah.
Tyler Barron, RJ Oben, Ja Joyner, Ethan Downs. Damn, Q's off the board.
Slim pickings, man.
I think we're gonna have to just go ahead, get the best available edge here. I mean, we already.
I don't know. Yeah, what do we got at safety?
I think you gotta go. Gotta go back to the edges. Safety, Craig Woodson. Not a bad option.
Maxon Pantera Hook. Still gonna be there.
I mean, it's
who's
I could be talking to
corner wise.
I could be talking to Woodson. Cornerback. Quincy Riley, I could be talking to. Jalen Smith's there. How about we go get our edge and then go back for Woodson? All right. Well, he's at 157. Tyler, the safety at
167.
Right. Okay. Well, but damn, this is like the Primo draft.
Woodson.
There he is, Woodson, right there.
Do you want to go double tight end?
Yes. Oh, Woodson.
We got like three more. We're picking in 3 picks anyway.
Very different draft. This is our last pick in the 2025 draft. Very different than our first.
Dante Thornton.
We have Dante Thornton. Currently we have Walter Nolan, Elijah Arroyo, tight end from Miami, edge Elijah Roberts. I think he's got inside versatility too. Dylan Fairchild, Garth, Georgia, edge Tyler Barron from Miami, and safety Craig Woodson in the 5th round. And you guys want to go
Dante?
I could be talking the corner here. Not. Oh, Jalen Travis is on the board. There we go.
All right, there it is. Grab it.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. Draft.
Bang. Did we just go all like free draft visit mode with this?
We may have, yeah. Speed up the pace of that since we let's go.
You earned 2 awards.
Walter Nolan. A.
We got an A for Walter Nolan. We got a B- for Elijah Arroyo. We got an A- for Elijah Roberts. We got a B+ for Dylan Fairchild. B for Tyler Barron. C+ for Craig Woodson. And C- for Jalen Travis.
I mean, that is a draft that adds a ton of depth, honestly,
and instant impact on Walter Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Elijah Arroyo.
2 Elijahs back to back.
Elijah Dose. That was an interesting draft.
And you got to go and get yourself a Jalen in every draft. How many consecutive years have we drafted a Jalen at this point?
Keep that going, man. But we appreciate you guys all in the chat. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Looking at the comments now, should have went Femi in the second round, asshole. It does. One trade changes the whole perspective.
Does change the game, yes, sir.
I got Walter Nolan. I'm good. But before we get out of here, big shout out to Bud Light for holding this down all these years. Shout out to Red Bull for giving the tailgate wings. Shout out to Cefeli's Pizza for giving Evan Hollywood Hearn the wings beneath his cheesesteaks wings. $16.75 for your efforts this tailgate season. Honorary captain, Conchahawk and Italian Bakery. Shout out to DJ Lowski and shout out to Smoking and Son. If you're really trying to get that pulled pork on, make sure you hit up Alex and make sure you hit up our guys up, Crafty Jawn. And if you look for graphics, hit up Wines Creative. Last word, or say it with your chest, Prime.
Real quick, yeah. If you don't know how to drive or you are not capable of driving, if you're not given permission to drive, stay off the fucking streets. I had a pretty serious scare yesterday in my neighborhood. Luckily my children weren't outside, but this guy ended up crashing into our neighbor's mailbox and he ended up hopping the curve. Miraculously missed all our cars, but did some damage on the way to his final stop. But yeah, again,
Dickhead.
It's some scary shit out there. So
Was he drunk driver?
Nah, he supposedly he suffers dementia and he's got mad points on his license, has suspended license. I don't even understand how he was behind the wheel, but it was just a crazy thing. But point blank, just stay off the streets if you don't belong on the streets. Real talk.
I can get behind that. I'm saying it with my chest. I got to come after the video game industry real quick. Gail, big shout out to, I know right up your alley. One of Gail's favorite games of all time is Fallout. The same company that made that also made this game called Skyrim, which we've been waiting for the sequel to that since over a decade now. Or about a decade now. They teased it back in 2018, but it's still crickets ever since then. And then today they release the prequel to that game remastered. Just come out with the new game, bro. Just come out with the new game. We don't want the remastered old
remastered
game.
Skyrim.
They remastered Oblivion, which was the game before Skyrim. That came out in like 2006. But come on, man. Just come out with the 6th game.
Skyrim. Okay. Saying with your chest, Coach says the Jordan Davis hate is annoying. Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton is the new BG Earl Thomas. I think that
feels directed, Cozy.
Sure does.
No, I do think he gets a lot of hate. I just think he does what he's asked to do, and it's not sexy what his role in this defense is. He was never I didn't expect him to be a pass rushing, twitchy DT. That's just not who he is. But I do think Jalen Carter contract is crazily looming. So that's it. That is. Same my chest. I'm gonna say allergies, because I was never an allergy kid, never whatever. I don't know where they came from, but now I go outside during allergy season and it's drip, drip, sneeze, sneeze. I took some Zyrtec. I almost passed out yesterday. That thing.
Zyrtec's great. You don't like it?
I guess I got the.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody,
bro.
Yeah,
she had me knocked out.
Mm.
But Brianna says, say with her chest. People need to STFU with the AJ trade rumors. It's not going to happen.
Agreed. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Amen.
Last word, Primo.
Last word. Big shout out to my sister-in-law. Happy birthday. Celebrated the other day. And again, big shout out to Tim and his wife. Big sis. Congratulations on y'all anniversary. And we are 2 days away from starting the season all over again. The run back. Let's go. Go Birds.
Can I ask you something? Is someone saying that we can't celebrate the Super Bowl after the draft starts? Is that the start of the new season?
Who said that?
Who the hell said that? There's no such thing. Try telling me that. I would love somebody to try to tell me that.
We're Super Bowl champions until the next champion's crowned, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
Last word, Ev.
Just like I said, it feels like the Super Bowl is starting to feel like it's been quite a bit. Even though I'm still on cloud 9 from being a champion, it still feels like a lot has happened. Obviously, weather's getting a little bit nicer, but we're in the dog days of the off season. So this is our little glimmer of something to get us excited to talk about for months to come. So looking forward to the draft. Wonder how it's all going to shake out, but I have confidence with Howie Roseman as my GM that will be all right.
Last word, shout out to all you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Again, if you want to join the draft show, want to sit in, come in, you have your food out. You can, as long as you don't chew with your mouth open, it's cool. Because I don't like that.
Bonus if you bring some bulgogi to the party.
Bonus. I had bulgogi 2 days ago.
Did you? Wow.
So again, all you guys that want to jump on the show, this is your perfect opportunity to jump on, and we're gonna sit around and just watch our Eagles kill this draft. But for me and the guys,
do that.
Ben says push all the chips in trade 2026. Do you want before we get out? Do you guys want to trade our 32 pick for some veteran star player?
No, we're good.
Trade our 32nd pick for a veteran star?
Yeah.
You do?
I mean, it depends on who the veteran star happens to be.
Yeah. Next show.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in a couple days for the draft. And we'll see you in the next one. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Do something with your life, okay? Besides watching Eagles content. Come on. Get a life.
Push that.